Kobe, is trying to convince Luffy that Zoro is a devil who kills men solely for the reward, as the episode begins with Luffy and Kobe aboard their boat. The ship then docks at an island with a large marine base stationed there. As Luffy and Kobe move through the village, the locals seem to fear as the names Roronoa Zoro and Captain Morgan are mentioned in the conversation. When Kobe and Luffy reach the marine base, Kobe assumes it would be their last stop because he intends to enlist in the Marines. But to Kobe's surprise, Luffy starts to scale the wall and discovers Zoro bound to a cross. A young child by the name of Rika uses a ladder to scale the wall, while they are staring at Zoro. She presents Zoro with some rice bowl that she baked from scratch, with all her heart. The snooty Helmeppo, son of Captain Morgan, shows up at that very moment with a number of Marine personnel. He stomps on the rice ball, and orders Rika to be sent out after eating it, declaring it to be horrible because she used sugar instead of salt. The little girl is thrown out by the first hesitant Marine, but luckily Luffy manages to catch her. Then, Luffy approaches Zoro after Helmeppo departs, and invites him to join the crew. Zoro declines the offer and says he doesn't want to be released from his bonds since he intends to survive, to insult Helmeppo. He asks Luffy to pick up the flattened rice balls and then consumes it. Then, when Luffy and Kobe run across Rika in the town, Luffy comments how much Zoro enjoyed the rice balls. Zoro is actually a wonderful guy, Rika responds when Luffy questions if he is evil or not. Helmeppo once brought a dangerous wolf into the local pub, but Zoro killed it to keep everyone safe. He then knocked Helmeppo to the ground, but was persuaded to have himself imprisoned, in exchange for saving the lives of the patrons of the pub. When Luffy, Kobe, and Rika enter a restaurant, they overhear Helmeppo discussing how he'll kill Zoro the following day. Luffy, who is incensed by his dishonesty, punches Helmeppo. He then flees to complain to his father, Captain Morgan. But when Helmeppo informs Captain Morgan what occurred, Captain Morgan, who at the time is having a statue of himself built on top of the marine base, hits his son and calls him a worthless person. In the meantime, Luffy attempts to free Zoro from his bind. Zoro remarks on how his swords were seized. After promising to go collect them, Luffy launches himself onto the marine base's roof using Gamu Gamu no rocket. He breaks the statue by doing so. Morgan, in anger, gives the order to kill Luffy, but Luffy grabs Helmeppo and rushes into the base to look for Zoro's weapons. While all that is happening, Kobe is attempting to untie Zoro while informing him about the circumstance. Nami is also skulking around the marine base the entire time. Helmeppo is dragged by Luffy into the room where the swords are. Meanwhile, Kobe and Zoro are in the midst of being surrounded by Captain Morgan's soldiers, who then give the pair the death penalty. Zoro reflects how he cannot die and thinks of Kuina, as the soldiers raise their guns and begin to fire. Luffy, however, leaps from the marine base and uses his rubber body to shield the bullets and send them flying before they can even get to them. When Zoro is startled, and inquires as to who he is, Luffy replies that he is Monkey D. Luffy, and that he will one day become the Pirate King.